I heard my husband crying in the bathroom after we bumped into his ex-girlfriend. Am I cooked? My husband and I met 2 years ago. He proposed 6 months later, telling me he knew I was the one when he met me and that he didn't want to waste time or lose me. I was, and still am, head over heels, so I agreed. We have been married for 6 months and are expecting our first baby. Last weekend, we bumped into his ex. They were together for 9 years, but she ended the relationship when he didn't take it to the next level. When we got engaged and married, my husband texted her to tell her and to apologize, talking about fate and how some things aren't meant to be. I remember asking him why, and he said he owed it to her so she wouldn't hear it from other people and be unprepared. They broke up 3 years ago. She was pregnant and holding hands with a child who could be 7 or 8 years old. She was with a man who was obviously her partner, and they were very affectionate towards each other. My husband said hi even though we could have walked by unnoticed, but he insisted on talking to her. When we got home, I heard him crying in the bathroom. Now, he has been depressed and distant the whole week. I realized he must have written to her after we got home, and he showed me his phone, confirming that he had. He again apologized for what he did and told her that some things are not meant to be. Would I be the jerk if I confronted him about what's going on? Why is he doing this? Relevant comment. Not the jerk, but it sounds like a cliché story. A guy is happy with the status quo and keeps his girlfriend around for 9 years. While he says he's open to the idea of marriage, to string her along I presume, he believes it's unnecessary and doesn't actually make plans to get an engagement ring or pop the question. He just assumes that if he runs the clock, she will be stuck with him for life. His ex decides that she's had enough of his placating words and realizes that if she wants to get married and start a family, it can't and won't be with him. After she takes charge of her life and dumps him, he begs her to take him back, promising to give her the ring and wedding that she wanted, but it's too little too late. Curtains close on this relationship. He takes a year or so to heal and then finds you, who checks off most of his boxes. Instead of risking the same thing happening again, he proposes to you after 6 months of dating. Everything happens at warp speed because he has learned from his last serious relationship. Don't leave it up to chance, don't string someone along. Bumping into his ex makes him realize he still has feelings for the one who got away. If he hadn't been so stubborn and slow about getting a ring and making his ex happy, that could have been him. He keeps telling himself that some things are not meant to be because it's easier to blame fate and absolve himself from being a bad boyfriend who wasted her time and ruined the relationship single-handedly. I'm glad his ex got her happy ending. I'm sorry your marriage is starting to show cracks because your husband may be incapable of love and had a hidden agenda when marrying you. He might have married you to prove to his ex he could commit, like when he texted her about the engagement, rather than because of his deep and lasting love for you. Update 1. Hi again, I hope you see this. I showed my husband this comment and told him it basically summed up how I feel, but that someone else wrote it better. At first, he got upset and defensive, then he started arguing and telling me to leave him alone, even though, for the past week, I've been nothing but supportive and have been giving him space. Then, he started crying and asked to read it again. He sat silently for about 15 minutes reading it, but not once did he deny it, call me crazy, or try to explain. If I know myself, this marriage is over. I don't play second fiddle. I don't do consolation prizes, and I absolutely am not going to let another woman be the main character in my own story. So I told him this was over and that I need a break to sort out my feelings, but that this will eventually end in divorce because I know myself very well. He didn't say anything. Just sat silently. I know his type. The only way he will realize my worth is when he has lost me, just like he did with his ex. People like him are frugal with their feelings. He strung her along because he didn't want to give her all of him, then he turned around and gave me exactly what she wanted but deprived me of what I wanted. Men like him will never give all of themselves because they probably think they would lose control if they did. What a waste of a man.